This is K1DBC. The DRC Learning Net will start in 1 minute. All stations, please stand by. Hello, and welcome back to the Denver Radio Club Learning Net for August 14th, 2024. It's a great place to learn about ham radio and STEM topics, and STEM topics in general. Thankfully, we have plenty of combined experience and expertise. This is Kilo 1 Delta Bravo Charlie. My name is Daron, and I am this evening's net control. Tonight, we'll be taking your check-ins, comments, questions, updates, and more. We meet every Wednesday, except the third Wednesday of the month, 7:30 p.m. Mountain Time on 145.490. You can contact us via email, elmer@w0tx.org, and most social media at Denver Radio Club. That's to include youtube.com/Denver Radio Club. So if you'd like to see behind the scenes of the net or visual context, that is an additional way to participate in the net. This net can be broken at any time for emergency or priority traffic by using the word break. Is there any emergency or priority traffic at this time? All check-ins to the net will be taken in alphabetical groups based on the first letter of the suffix of the operator's call sign. The suffix is the first letter after the number in the call sign. If you can, please try to use ITU phonetics for your call sign at least, and indicate if you have any traffic or questions as you check in. You can follow along with check-ins, w0tx.org/check-in. With that, if your suffix begins with the letters A through M, Alpha through Mike, please check in now.
Kilo 0 Lima Papa Romeo, Lanier and Inglewood.
Kilo Mike 4 Charlie Fox Tango Jonathan Howard's Ranch.
This is Kilo Echo 0 Alpha Bravo.
All right, this is K1DBC. We'll hold up there for a moment. Net Control would like to welcome and acknowledge the following check-ins: K0 LPR Linear, KM4 CFT Jonathan, and Kilo Echo 0 Alpha Bravo. Ken, thank you all so much for checking in. Once more, if your call suffix begins with letters A through M, Alpha through Mike, please check in now.
K5 AFO Kilo 5 Alpha Fox Oscar Ben Aurora, no traffic.
Kilo Foxtrot 0 Alpha Whiskey Charlie Brian, Centennial, no traffic. Lawton Lakewood, no traffic.
All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. Hold up there for a moment. We had a little bit of a double there just at the end, but I believe I got everyone in there. Net Control, we'd like to acknowledge the following check-ins: K5AFO Ben, KF0AWC Brian, and KF0FPI Ron. Thank you all so much for checking in. Okay, we'll open up check-ins to all the entire alphabet, all call signs, all call suffixes. This is the Denver Radio Club Learning Net, great place to learn about ham radio. If you'd like to check in, we're taking all call signs, all call suffixes. Let us know your call sign, your name, and if you have any traffic or questions, please call now.
Alpha Charlie 3, Tango Mike, Tom and Parker, no traffic.
W0TX, repeater.
WD0 CIV, WD0 CIV, Charleston, Denver, no traffic.
Kilo Echo 0, Sierra Uniform Mike, Jonathan, Lakewood.
November 0, Tango Romeo Papa, Jim in Lakewood. Good evening.
WD0 CIV, WD0 CIV, Charleston, Denver, no traffic.
All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. Hold up there for just a moment. We had another double in there, but we'll see what we can get here. I had Net Control. I'd like to acknowledge the following check-ins: AC3TM Tom, KS0E Alex. We had check-in online. Good evening, Alex. WD0CIV Charles, KE0SUM Jonathan, and N0TRP Jim. Thank you all so much for checking in. All right, another call. If you'd like to check into the Denver Radio Club Learning Net just for the count, or if you have any traffic or questions, we're taking all call signs, all call suffixes. Please call now.
Alpha Echo 0, Yankee Romeo, Ed in Arvada, no traffic.
Kilo Foxtrot 0, Oscar, Romeo, Quebec, Sam in Mobile in Denver, no traffic.
All right, and that time we had AE0YR Ed and KF0ORQ Sam. Thank you all so much for checking in here. All right, just as a reminder, this is about an hour-long meeting, just a general Q&A about ham radio STEM topics. We can talk about your projects or any questions that you may have. We'll be taking official check-ins throughout the net, but if you don't hear anybody talking, you're more than welcome to check in. With that, we'll take another call for check-ins at the moment. We're taking all call signs, all call suffixes. Please call now. All right, nothing heard at the moment. This is K1 DBC Net Control. I don't see anybody indicated they had any traffic or questions. I can certainly bring a couple things up. I'll see if I can have the digital version of the QST magazine up here. We can go through that. Some ARL news, potentially. Anyone, though, at the moment? Comments, questions, check-ins, anything else so far for this evening's Learning Net? Please call on.
I have a question. SUM.
Yeah, Jonathan, KE0SUM. Go ahead.
I was cleaning up. It's always a good thing to do. My house is less than, I wouldn't call it messy, but it's cluttered. But anyway, I found an old Motorola Talkabout T4900 laying around, and I dug that out. And my question is, this is FRS, GMRS, it says. I'm putting batteries in it as we speak, but how many people actually monitor GMRS repeaters or use them on a daily basis? I bought these because I was rock climbing and we stayed in touch with each other this way. I see YouTubers use them a lot that way, but I've never been clear on how many people are using specifically GMRS repeaters. Back to the net.
Great question there. Yeah, GMRS operations and monitoring. Yeah, I'm not too sure. I don't do that myself. But yeah, FRS, Family Radio Service, and the General Mobile Radio Service, great places for most people to use radios. Maybe 4x4 people are using that here. I'm not too sure, but yeah, GMRS usage. Anyone on that? Go right ahead.
FBI.
KF0, FPI, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't have a GMRS radio yet, but I don't know, a year or two ago, the price came down because you need to be licensed for that. I got my call sign, but I would like to buy a set of portables and try it out. If it's active, maybe even put a small base station in, and that the license goes with the family. So my wife could get one, and my daughter, if she was in town, we could use that as a family communicator. That's why I got my license. They were $70, and now they're only $35. Back to net.
Very cool. Yeah, I didn't realize that about the single license usage for multiple people, individuals and their family members. That's pretty cool. Yeah, it looks like can be up to 5 watts analog only, so your basic HT ultimately. So yeah, very cool stuff. Yeah, I don't know, but it doesn't look like it requires a license, or it doesn't require a test, to obtain a license. So it looks like it's pretty easy to do. So yeah, I don't know, Jonathan or anyone else, GMR usage or anything else, go ahead.
Bravo.
Yeah, Alpha Bravo, go ahead.
Is that all simplex, or do they have some type of repeater system set up for that stuff? I have no idea. It's just a question.
FBI.
Yeah, FBI, go ahead.
Yeah, Jonathan might be able to. Jonathan sounds like he might know more about this than I do. But they do have a repeater system. And I did hear where there's guys getting into the repeater system and trying to act like they have a license, a registered FCC license. It kind of is a registered license. You don't need to be licensed for it per se as a ham, but you got to make, what is that, an FRN number? An FCR number. That number that's kind of hard to get on the FCC's website. The magic number that revolves around all your licenses.
W0TX repeater.
Comment, SUM.
Yeah, go ahead with the comment.
Well, GMRS and FRS are great for when you're hiking, and yes, you should get the license, but you have to remember not all GMRS radios will do repeaters. Coming around to your original question, yes, there are repeaters up and down I-25. I believe they're put up from a Castle Rock group, and I know that because I've talked to one of the guys who does that. So, yeah, there are GMRS repeaters up and down, especially I-25 that I know of, but I'm going to have to research. I'm not sure what their capabilities are. I think they're 50-watt repeaters, but I'm not sure. KE0SUM, back to net.
All right, excellent. Thank you so much. I thought I saw some video or something about GMRS repeaters recently. I'll have to try to dig that out. But yeah, appreciate that. Yeah, GMRS usage. Looks like a lot of them are on the 462 frequency megahertz. So yeah, really cool stuff. Yeah, I have not used GMRS before, but yeah, anyone else? GMRS usage, repeater usage more specifically? Go right ahead.
A KF0QQV comment.
KF0QQV, I got you checked in, and go right ahead with the comment.
Yeah, there have been a couple videos. There was a FCC informal meeting featuring a number of FCC commissioners of one of the East Coast ham clubs. And there's been some other action, but basically GMRS repeaters are being looked at a little more closely as opposed to not being looked at all recently. And the big issue is the FCC is trying to go by the letter of the reg that basically says there shall be no linking of repeaters in any way, shape, or form, although the verbiage in the regulation is sort of loosey because it says by telephone connection or something like that. But it says or networking. But because there's only 8 GRMS frequencies available for repeating, once you start linking, you pretty much eat up the entire band, and that's the objection. And GMRS was never meant to be long haul; it was meant to be local area comms between a known group of people, not a reg chewing long haul system. So the FCC is trying to get it back to what it was intended to be in the regs. KF0QQB, back to net.
FBI.
Excellent. Thank you, QQV. I think I saw it over on Ham Radio Crash Course, or just a thumbnail of it. FCC banned GMRS repeater linking is some of the messaging you were mentioning there. Yeah, absolutely. And then I think there was another follow-up in there. Go right ahead.
Yeah, that was great information. That's kind of what it was built for, and I just wanted, if Verizon goes down, if my wife can grab the HT out of her glove box, and maybe we can communicate. That's the only reason I got mine. I was going to do nothing fancy with it, but that was great information. Back to that.
Perfect. Sounds good. Absolutely. Yep. Over on the YouTube channel Ham Radio Crash Course, it looks like from a couple of weeks ago. Again, a video you can watch, which kind of describes what we were talking about there of GMRS repeater linking and how it shouldn't be. They shouldn't be linked, and FCC is starting to crack down a little bit more on that. So, but there are still repeaters and plenty of usage out there. So use it or lose it, just like our repeaters. But this is K1DBC Net Control. Anyone else on that? Please call now.
KF0QVM.
KF0QVM, go ahead.
Yeah, I just tuned in here, so apologies if this has already been said, but there is a group here, Front Range GMRS, and they're pretty active on their repeaters, and they've got a website, and I'd recommend checking them out. They're a good group of guys. Back to net, KF0QVM.
Excellent, QVM. Yeah, I got you checked in as well. FrontRangeGMRS.com, it looks like. Pretty cool. So, yeah, looks like similar to our website, they'll have a net section, radio files, ways to repeat or program your radios, things like that, and a list of the repeaters and things like that. So, Front Range GMRS, very cool. All right. Well, we'll take this opportunity to take check-ins. If you're just tuning in, this is the Denver Radio Club Learning Net. Great place to learn about ham radio and STEM topics. Great conversations here so far this evening. If you'd like to check in just for the count, or if you have any traffic questions, we're taking all call signs, all call suffixes. Let us know your call sign, your name. And if you have any traffic or questions, please call now. Once more, at the moment, if you'd like to check in, we're taking all check-ins, Alpha through Zulu, all call signs, all call suffixes. Please call now.
8 Alpha Echo 0 Romeo Kilo, Fred in Denver, no traffic.
All right, and that time we had AE0RK. Fred, thank you so much for checking in here. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. We have another 40 or so minutes. It's a great place to learn about ham radio and STEM topics. If anybody has comments or questions or any other further check-ins, let me know. Otherwise, I can certainly bring up some recent news articles, but any other comments, questions, check-ins, anything else so far for this evening's Learning Net? Please call now.
Comment KM4 CFT.
All right, not sure if there was a double on there, but CFT, I got you in there, but there was a bit of noise on your signal. If you want to go ahead and try ahead once more, go ahead.
This is KM4 CFT. Just wanted to make a little comment or mention something. I just released my first ever transceiver into the wild. It's called the CFT1, and it's a 5-band Morse code transceiver, and it's on Ham Gadgets. But don't know how legal it is for me to talk about it since pecuniary interest stuff. But I just thought it'd be cool to let everyone know about that.
Excellent, not a problem, absolutely. KM4CFT over on hamgadgets.com, the CFT1 kit for around $350. A QRP 5-band CW transceiver kit. So really cool stuff. Yeah, we can discuss this a little bit more here, but looks like 40 through 15 meters. Great companion for parks on the air, summits on the air, portable base station. Lots of information over on the website here. So really, really cool stuff. Yeah, anyone on that, or if you want to share anything further on that, go right ahead.
W0TX repeater.
This is Kilo Echo Zero Alpha Bravo. What's the website?
The radio and whatnot, but pretty much you pretty much gave the rundown. The only other thing that I add is that I designed it to be incredibly user intuitive to the point that you shouldn't even need the manual to operate it.
Excellent, sounds good. And someone was asking the website. Website again is hamgadgets.com. Hamgadgets.com. And the model is the CFT1.
Thank you, Jerome. This is Kilo Echo Zero Alpha Bravo, back to net.
Excellent, sounds good. Yeah, making things straightforward is certainly makes things a lot easier for most people. Yeah, you don't have to use the manual; just turn it on and start using it, and hopefully you'll get out there. So really cool stuff there. Yeah, CFT1 kit by again Jonathan there, KM4CFT. Really cool stuff there. Really slick looking product, and it looks like some 3D printing here and some nice looking cases. So really cool product here. If you don't mind me asking, how does the manufacturing side of things look? Is that something you're doing in-house, or you're putting it on? Does the Ham Gadgets put it together or something? Or if you can go into more detail on that, go right ahead.
So part of it's, most of it is I have to get the circuit boards manufactured, and I get JLC PCB to do that. It's you can't really easily get this stuff made in the USA. It's just way too hard. But there is quite a bit of labor involved in the sense that it uses some SA612 Gilbert cell mixers, which aren't made anymore. So I have to find those and then hand solder them on. There's also some 6 or so SOC23 pin diodes that the board manufacturer just won't install for me, so I have to do that too. And then there's about 50 unique components that I have to put in each bag, and then I have to also 3D print a bunch of parts. Part of that bag requires me to hand sort about 4 crystals for a crystal filter, which for those who don't know about crystal filters, you take 4 quartz crystals, and they have to be within a certain frequency of each other. They all have a frequency that's listed on them, but that's not precise. It's actually talking about, when it gives a frequency on a crystal, it's talking about the frequency between the series and resonant, the series and parallel resonant frequencies. But what you're looking at with this is the series resonant frequency, and you have to choose about 4 that are within about 10% of the bandwidth, so it's within 35 hertz of each other for my setup. So that takes quite a bit of time. I have to go through and hook it up to an oscillator and see what frequency it is, and then choose 4 that match each other. And then, of course, I have to bag everything up and then send it off to Dan to ship everything out.
Wow. Yeah, a lot of steps there. Really cool. Labor of love, it sounds like. So that's awesome to hear. And it is a kit form, right? It's not pre-assembled, is what it looks like. Is that correct?
That is correct. It comes as a kit. We do also have the option where you can pay to have the toroids pre-wound if you hate toroids that much. so I don't find that winding towards is that bad. I do find winding around 100 of them to be kind of unbearable, but that's no one would have to deal with that except for me and some other people who are dealing with the kits. We also will be offering pre-assembled ones. They'll be available on every Thursday at about 10 a.m. We'll have whatever stock we have, we'll have up for sale. If you're at the Denver Radio Club Hamfest, I'll have about 10 of them available for sale. So that's also an option. So if you're at the Denver Radio Club Hamfest, stop by the Ham Gadgets booth.
Dan.
Very cool. This is Daron, K1DBC Net Control. Yeah, I really do appreciate that. Yeah, not a problem. This is a great looking product, and yeah, we're glad to be able to maybe drive some audience to you. So yeah, really cool stuff here. So yeah, if you're interested in QRP operations, great opportunity here. Excellent. All right. So yeah, that is the process of kind of bringing together a kit for sale and all the different kind of parts and components and all the little different parts and pieces and things like that. So a really cool process. So really awesome to hear that. So yeah, this is K1DBC Net Control. Anyone else on that, or anyone else? Any comments, questions, check-ins, anything else? Please call now.
November 6th, Whiskey Hotel Victor.
And 6WHV got you checked in, Dick. Thank you so much for checking in. If you have anything, let us know.
Yeah, I wanted to make an announcement, Daron, that a week from tonight at 7 p.m. there'll be a presentation by W6BSD on antennas. You can see that, link to that on the homepage of W0TX.org. It's on the left side. You'll see DRC meeting August 21st. You click on that, and then on the next page you'll find the link for the online meeting, or you can phone in as well.
Excellent. Thank you so much there, Dick. N6WHV. This is K1DBC Net Control. Yep, right on our front page there. A link, as mentioned, HF Antennas for Beginners, presented by Fred, W6BSD. He's going to be thrilled to be giving a club. He'll be describing easy-to-build antennas for the pros and cons of each. Give a quick overview of how the power from the radio is transmitted to the antenna. Presentations well suited for beginners as well as well-seasoned hams. So really cool stuff there. Really do appreciate that.
Thanks, Daron. Yeah, it should be a great presentation. Fred's a really smart guy. He dabbles in lots of things, and he's pretty good at all of them, it seems. Very good at presenting, though. He makes wonderful graphics and things like that. So we'll see you all there next week. For now, 73 from N6WHV.
All right, sounds good. This is K1DBC Net Control. We have another 30 or so minutes. We're taking all comments, questions, check-ins. Anything else so far for this evening's Learning Net? Please call now.
Question, Kilo Echo Zero Alpha Bravo.
Yeah, Ken, Alpha Bravo, go ahead.
This question is for Jonathan, the KM4 CFT. I am looking for a transverter kit or a kit or a setup for 10 meters to 220 single sideband. Do you dabble in any of that?
W0TX repeater.
This is KM4 CFT. Unfortunately, I do not deal with anything transverter related. This is actually the the whole CFT1 thing, it was actually my first attempt at homebrewing a transceiver, and it just happened to come out really well. But sorry, I don't really think I could help you with that.
Okay, it was just a question because stuff like that is really hard to find, and it is out there, but it's hard to find. And I was just curious if you did anything like that. So thank you very much for the info, and good luck on your kit sales. This is Kilo Echo Zero Alpha Bravo, back to net.
All right, sounds good. Not a problem. Yeah, just some cursory Google searches of, I think you mentioned 10 meter and 220 or I can't remember the second number you mentioned, but there's a couple of transverter kits out there potentially, but yeah, I'm not too sure. Great question. This is K1 DBC Net Control.
I have a bit of an announcement, SUM.
Yeah, Jonathan, SUM, go ahead.
Well, a lot of you know that I do fox hunt, hidden transmitter hunting, and so our loose-knit group of transmitter hunters is once again afoot this time. Saturday, September 7th, weather permitting. We're going to do a foot hunt at Bear Creek Greenbelt Park. Now, this Greenbelt Park between Wadsworth and basically Kipling here in Lakewood is right off 285. But the interesting thing is this is on foot, and so you just get to park and walk around with your directional hunting. But Robert's also programmed the transmitters to be on a lot longer than normal hunts, probably because you're on foot. So he's doing a lot of these transmitters on for 45 seconds. That's a long time. And then off for 10, only 10. So he's got a couple of different setups going. The boundaries are West Jail and South Estes, and East is Wadsworth. So I want to let everybody know everyone's welcome to come. It should be a really fun time. If you need more information, get a hold of n0cfm@aol.com. His name's Robert, and he's happy. He's organizing this one. KE0SUM, back to net.
Excellent. Well, appreciate the update there. Yeah, it's been a while since we've heard of that. Yep, over on his QRZ page, a little bit more info, at least on the previous one, one of the previous ones at least, and kind of the frequencies you're kind of expecting to be able to cover or listen to. 146.565 and 445 potentially. And they may update their page here. But again, n0cfm@aol.com to get a hold of Robert. Excellent. Thank you so much for the update on that. Awesome. So yeah, again, fox hunting, you do not need to be licensed for. You can be unlicensed. Yep. So it's a great orienteering and just a great outdoor activity trying to track down a hidden transmitter. So really cool stuff. This is K1 DBC Net Control. Anyone else on that or any other comments or questions? We have another 20 or so minutes. Please call there. All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. I can certainly bring up a couple of recent news articles, but anyone else, comments, questions, check-ins, anything else so far for this evening's Learning Net, please call now. All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. I can certainly bring up a couple more things here, but anyone else at the moment, comments, questions, check-ins, anything else so far for this evening's Learning Net, please call now.
KF0QQV comment.
Yeah, KF0QQV. David, go ahead.
I was just going to bring up the ALL section meeting earlier in the week. Amanda was bringing up the news story that there is a GPS, 3D GPS supplement company who has got a petition in front of the FCC to take part of the 900 megahertz band, and people's submitted comments on that action would be appreciated from the ham community. Not that the ISM community won't be making plenty of other comments, I'm sure, but the 900 band is potentially getting another high-volume system being proposed to go into it. Back to the net.
Excellent. Thank you for the information there on the 900 megahertz band and some upcoming changes. It looks like, as you mentioned, looks like NextNav is the latest petition to the FCC regarding the lower 900 megahertz band and what it means for amateur operators. FCC considers new rulemaking. It's crucial to understand how these changes could impact that portion of the spectrum and the broader ham radio community. It looks like K0LWC. YouTuber put together a video on it and maybe some others as well. So they have links to the rulemaking FCC link and I think the comments section as well. This is K1 DBC Net Control. Yeah, absolutely. If we don't use it, we lose it. So yeah, just try to look this up and see what this is all about. All right, so as mentioned, this is kind of a part of the ISM band, or maybe I misheard that, but that's for some smart meters and things like that. But it looks like some GPS usage might start to use it as well. So we are the secondhand users of any of our repeaters and things like that. But this is K1 DBC Net Control. Appreciate the follow up on that. Anyone else on that? Go ahead. All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. Yeah, I would suggest if anybody's interested, look it up and see what's going on and see what actions that you can take to help out with on this. So might be a part of the spectrum that might be going away at some point. But see what you can do. This is K1 DBC Net Control. Anyone else on that or anything else? Please call now. All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. Again, K0LWC on his YouTube channel has links to all the detailed information as well as a link to how to submit a comment on that. And you can maybe look through previous comments and see what you should put and what other people have put and how it can affect our bands and whatnot. So this is K1 DBC Net Control. Anyone else? Please call now.
W0TX repeater.
All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. Comments, questions, check-ins. We have another 15 or so minutes. Let us know your call sign, your name. If you have any traffic questions, if you want to check in, or if you have any other traffic or questions, let us know. All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. If you're not aware, there's a conference that took place August 8th through the 11th in Las Vegas, DEF CON, a pretty interesting kind of security conference, hacker conference, and They have a ham radio community as well, Ham Radio Village. Their mission is to deliver high-quality and innovative amateur radio-related educational content, hands-on experiences, and license testing sessions online and in person through events. They believe that the more people that know about amateur radio, the more safe, secure, functional, and innovative their wireless products, services, and experiments can be. So they had again, at this conference, they had some presentations that they gave. So if you'd like to check that out, it's over on their Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Ham Radio Village. Some pretty interesting videos here. Let me drop for a moment. Let's see a presentation, as we've talked about, on Meshtastic. Someone gave on that. Advanced packet radio operations, basic packet radio operations, ham radio and HOA. And what are your options there? Radio in the face of your oppressor. Yeah, pretty cool talks here. So if you're interested on that, again, Twitch, twitch.tv/Ham Radio Village. All right, anyone else? Comments, questions, check-ins, anything else so far for this evening's Learning Net? Please call now. Let's see here. We can take a look at some recent ARL news articles, arl.org/news. Let's see, I saw this one somewhere else. So New York High School helps license amateur radio operators. On the 1st of August, Steve Goodgame, K5ATA, ARL Education and Learning Manager, took a train trip to New York City to visit the Staten Island Technical High School. He was there to help administer amateur radio exams to 49 students, and all passed. Several upgraded their license from general to extra, and 2 went from unlicensed to extra in one sitting. Their teacher, Evanton, KD2ZZT, attended ARL's Teachers Institute on Wireless Technology last year. They've been trying to help over 100 kids successfully test for their licenses. They built a program incorporating HF, local repeater use, fox hunting, space communications, and has plans to incorporate mesh networking with his students this coming year. On the 6th, they helped their students build antennas to help make contact with the International Space Station. They made a 5-element VHF bad boy antenna with a mounting mechanism to rotate and pitch the heading using 3D printed materials, PVC and aluminum rods. They tried using an IC2730A UHF radio on medium power. It didn't go as well as planned. They were able to hear a lot of activity on 70 centimeters. More information, arl.org/news. Very quickly, more on that institution. Staten Island Technical High School began as a New York City public high school in 1988. Its student body is comprised of lifelong learners, innovation facilitators, contributors to the betterment of society, and intellectually inquisitive young men and women. In September of 2005, the school was granted the status as New York's 7th specialized high school by the New York City Department of Education. It's comprised of mostly academically gifted and talented students. So really cool opportunities there. All right, so it is never too early. It is never too late to learn. There is a lot to learn about this hobby. Youth education is extremely important. So this is K1 DBC Net Control. Anyone else? Comments, questions, check-ins? We have another 10 or so minutes. Please call now. All right, I can certainly read out another news article here, but anyone else, comments, questions, check-ins, please call now.
You must have changed your microphone again. You sound different. You sound better tonight for some reason, Drone. KE0SUM.
Oh, gotcha. Thank you for the report. Yeah, I'm not sure how I'm holding it to my face closer to my face, but it is the same radio and microphone that I was using last week. But glad to hear. I think we've had some reports that our repeaters may have had some issues here recently, but glad to hear it's sounding better. Appreciate it. All right, here. This is K1 DBC Net Control. Anyone else? Comments, questions, check-ins? Anything else so far for this evening's Learning It? Please call now. Okay, I can read out a recent article here about 10 days ago on hackaday.com titled Radio Apocalypse, HFGCS, the Backup Plan for Doomsday, written by Dan Maloney. To the extent that you have an opinion on something like high-frequency radio, you probably associate it with amateur radio operators, hunched over their gear late at night as they try to make contact with a random stranger across the globe to talk about the fact that they're both doing the same thing at the same time. In a world where you can reach out to almost anyone else in an instant using flashy apps on the internet, HF radio's reputation as somewhat old and fuddy is well earned, according to them. Let me drop here. This is an extensive article here, so let me see if I can try to summarize this here a little bit. The U.S. Strategic Forces Command built their backup plan around the unique properties of HF radio. Its current incarnation is called the HF Global Communications System, or HFGCS. As hams like to say, when all else fails, there's radio. And HFGCS takes advantage of that to make sure that the end of the world can be conducted in an orderly fashion. Again, a bit lengthy here. Let me see if I can pick out some things. HFGCS itself is relatively new. It only came onto the scene in 1992 when post-Cold War military restructuring combined two earlier Air Force HF networks into the global HF system. GHFS would undergo upgrades in 2002 and get an extra letter in its rearranged acronym, becoming HFGCS. It may have started out with the Air Force. Its design is open and flexible enough that it can be used by Air Force, Army, and Navy assets anywhere around the world around the clock.
W0TX repeater.
I'll probably just read one more paragraph. Primary fixed infrastructure is a network of 13 ground stations scattered across the U.S. and its territories, as well as allied countries around the world. The ground stations are linked together using a combination of landlines and satellite stations to act as a unified network. Almost all the stations on the network are lights-out stations that are controlled remotely. The primary control point for the entire system is located at Andrews Air Force Base outside of Washington, D.C., with a backup location deep in the interior of the continent of Offutt AFB in Omaha, Nebraska. Each of these two stations is manned around the clock and can control the entire network. And I guess the last bit here, just a little bit more technical information. It's difficult to get a lot of technical details on what gear is being used at these stations, but one aspect is that's hard to keep from public scrutiny is the antennas. The station in Nebraska provides a pretty good look at things, sitting as it does in the middle of the cornfield off a public road in Elkhorn, Nebraska. Sprouts sprawling from the farm of directional and omnidirectional antennas, including a collection of massive AS3482 log periodic antennas. Giants have twin towers that support a rotating platform with 3 support booms for the radiation antenna. Balun at the base matches the antenna to the feed line, which is a 50 ohm hardline coax, measuring a whopping 3 1/8 diameter. The stations also have receive capability, but given the 25,000 watt power rating on these, receivers are generally not located within the transmitters. In the case of this one, the receivers are located 28 miles outside of Scriber, Nebraska. So again, more information, hackaday.com, Radio Apocalypse, HFGCS, the backup plan for Doomsday. All right. Yeah, so nothing that we haven't really spoken about before. So radios are very similar, civilian world and military world. They use a lot of the same terms and equipment, and a lot of the things we can learn from amateur radio we can put to use in understanding how radio communications is done throughout the military. This is K1 DBC Net Control. We have another 5 or so minutes. Any comments, questions, check-ins, please call in.
Kilo, Romeo 0, Tango Echo Alpha. This is Terry in Arvada. No questions.
Kilo, Foxtrot 0, Alpha, Foxtrot, Quebec. Troy in Denver, just checking in for the count.
KE0SUM, question.
All right, we got a couple check-ins there. KR0TE8 Terry and KF0AFQ Troy. Thank you all so much for checking in. And then we had another question there from Jonathan, KE0SUM. The net is yours.
Well, you were showing different, we all love antennas. Antennas are the key to our system overall, nothing more important. And you were showing some on the web. And I live here in Lakewood and often drive by the Federal Center. And they have quite a few interesting antennas set up at the Federal Center. And I'm just wondering, you suppose they actually use them? I'm back in that.
Great question. This is K1 DBC Net Control. Log periodic antenna at the Denver Federal Center is mentioned there. I believe so. I believe that is a FEMA-owned property, or that's for FEMA usage. But we have very briefly talked about that before, at least on another Elmers session or something. But yeah, log periodic antenna at the Denver Federal Center, if you're ever interested in what that is. I think it is in usage, but I am not 100% sure. This is K1 DBC Net Control.
Alpha Bravo.
Yeah, Alpha Bravo. Go ahead.
Yes, they do use them. When I was working out in Palmdale, on the Palmdale Airport in the air traffic control center, they were tearing out a computer floor and putting in a new computer floor. And this was back in the 90s. And when we were doing that, there was a small ham radio communication center setting in the back corner of in the basement that went out to a log periodic. And one of the guys that run the computer floor was a ham radio operator. His name was Paul Quick. I can't remember his call sign. But we got to talking, and I was an amateur. And I went back there, and I helped him disassemble the amateur radio station that they had back there. And it was a 1,500-watt station. And yes, he lit that up before we took it down. And we talked to a operator at the Federal Station here in Colorado, right out there on one of those log periodics. So when you see those, they are in use. And I think also that they use them to contact the planes in emergency situations. But I'm not sure on that. But yes, they do use them. In fact, I have talked on the log periodic out there at the Palmdale airport out there for the Federal Communications Center out there and the aviation traffic control area.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the detailed information there. Yeah, absolutely. It's great to hear some more information on that. So yeah, Jonathan, hopefully that answers your question. They are in usage and use. So really cool stuff there. This is K1 DBC Net Control.
FBI.
FPI, go ahead.
Yeah, that log periodic is sitting in a plot that's got a, I don't know, 10 or 15 story bomb shelter underneath it. And if this is the one that's by the post office there off Alameda, I remember growing up when I was younger, they had a big article in the paper about what they put in that hole, and yeah, they probably use it, but if it is being used, I know they have that shelter sequestered for a certain amount of people and their talents or wherever they're at on the hierarchy. But it is cool. I would love to have that in my backyard, but it's not possible. Back to that.
Awesome, very cool. Thank you for the information on that. Yeah, so very quickly again, log periodic antenna. Also, it's a multi-element directional antenna designed to operate over a wide band of frequencies. Log periodic was invented in 1958 by Dwight Isbell and Raymond Duhamel at the University of Illinois. So really cool stuff here. So yeah, local ham radio operator, I forget his call sign, but has a YouTube channel, Zeke Zilch. Has some pretty good local ham radio information, so that's you could check that out. This is K1 DBC Net Control. Anyone else? Last minute comments, questions, check-ins, anything else so far? Please call now.
W0TX repeater.
All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. We just ticked over to 8:31 p.m. Local Mountain Time. So we might start to wrap things up. I'll throw it out to the group. Anyone else? Last minute comments, questions, check-ins, anything else? Please call in. All right, nothing heard. I'll start to wrap things up here. We appreciate everyone who's checked in. We had a total of 20 check-ins. We appreciate everyone who can participate in this net and help us out with our club. As mentioned, there's a lot of volunteer opportunities. If you'd like to help with net control operations, that is a great opportunity to get started if you feel comfortable. If you've watched any of the YouTube videos, you can see that the net check-in process is pretty simple. You type in a call sign and it puts in all the information for you, and you just read off a script. So if you're ever interested in running this net or any of our other nets, let us know. More information on our club, again, w0tx.org. With that, again, next week will be our meeting, so there will be no net over the air. w0tx.org. And again, right on the front page there, HF Antennas for Beginners, and you can find a link for how to join that. This is K1 DBC Net Control. Again, we appreciate and thank anyone who can participate. We appreciate the club for allowing us to use their repeaters. With that, this is K1 DBC Net Control. I will say 7-3, and everyone have a good evening, and we'll talk all soon.
When technology connects, so does humanity. No matter how small it begins, Every connection has the power to engineer something bigger, to imagine a better world,
Zero MPI, this is
and
Kilo
bring us
Echo Zero Alpha
together to
Bravo.
make it happen. Beyond creating a safer, sustainable, more productive world, TE Connectivity is engineering possibility, engineering hope, engineering the future. We're committed to unleashing the potential of every connection, connections that bring proven technology to every corner of the Earth, connections that empower collaboration in engineering, and connections that move humanity forward. Because any connection can change the world. Every connection counts.